everyone. Welcome to the Dreamcatcher podcast, a place where your dreams can find a voice. Many people believe that the mind and body are two different entities, when the reality is that they are intimately intertwined. And a lot of people who struggle with stress, weight problems, and health issues are not aware of this connection. To teach us more about it, I interviewed an expert in this field, Robert Ferguson. Robert is a nationally recognized certified nutritionist, fitness expert, and author. He's written 3 books on nutrition and fitness. And for more than 20 years, Robert has helped thousands lose weight and improve their overall health with his signature diet-free life methodology. He's worked with Fortune 500 companies as a speaker and consultant. And he's also has a growing list of celebrities and professional athletes. In my conversation with Robert, he goes more in depth into how we can eat healthier and develop the right mindset to live happier and more balanced lives. He also addresses issues such as body image problems and stress management. I hope that you enjoy our chat and learn something useful from it. If you do, please like, share, and subscribe to receive more episodes like this one. Hi, Robert. How are you doing today?
I am absolutely happy.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
During such a challenging time for so many people, and it's challenging for me as well, but I am happy today.
Yeah, I think we're all trying to hang in there, right? Despite whatever's going on in the world. So yeah, I think it just takes more effort.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
Yes. Well, it's nice to have you on the show. Thank you for making time to be here and be willing to share your expertise on health and wellness. And I'm really excited to hear what you have to share with us.
All right. Well, wherever you want to go with the area of nutrition, weight loss, health, we can go.
Okay,
So,
perfect. Yeah.
My goal is to provide as much information as possible to help as many people as possible.
So let's start out with talking a little bit about you and your journey. What sparked your interest in fitness and nutrition?
Well, I think most people, if you live long enough, will have some interest in nutrition, fitness, health, hopefully, because there is a connection between healthier and being happier. But for me, I'm a former U.S. Marine. I was a mama's boy growing up, and I watched my mom battle with her weight her entire life. And when I got older and I was out in the world, I had a group of women ask me if I would do a weight loss seminar. And they assumed I knew about nutrition, which at the time I didn't. But I was a speaker, and I did a lot of work in the areas of bridging the gap between knowing something and doing something. So I'm more of a motivator. So I decided to do it, and I called my mom and said, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to do a weight loss seminar." And she laughed at first. And then she said, "There's no way you're going to be able to learn to seriously be able to help these people." And she was right. So I just focused on my strengths, and I taught the seminar, and the women said it was the best weight loss seminar they had ever experienced. And I was like, wow, I didn't give you guys any fitness tips. I didn't really tell you what to eat and how to eat. I just helped you do what you already are aware of, right? Because most people know that it's healthier to drink more water than to drink more soda. Mm-hmm. Most people know it's healthier to eat more fish than to eat more beef. So I just took what they already knew and got them on the path. And then I was like, you know what? I think this is my calling. And I just went back and reflected on all the things that my mom had experienced and what I witnessed firsthand, watching her lose 100 pounds and we all, yay! But then watching her gain it all back and watching her be sad and cry. And so in 1995, I decided to get into the space of weight loss. So I went back and got a degree in dietetics. I already had a master's in counseling psychology. And I've been a fitness athlete my entire life. So I had a personal training certificate, and I just took it to the next level. And so just that's how I got into it. And since 95, we have now become evidence-based. We're clinically proven, and we've helped thousands of people, literally all over the world.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a great story. So it seems like you have an emotional attachment to this issue because of your mom's journey in weight loss.
Well, I would say there's an emotional attachment there, but there's also an emotional attachment to the fact that I like to help people, right? So before that, I was a martial art instructor. I've always been that person that likes to help people. I find joy in that. So it just made sense. And once I started doing it, then I realized how much people didn't know. And then I quickly come to the conclusion that the biggest challenge we have with weight loss and nutrition is that the uninformed are influenced by the misinformed, meaning there's so much confusion, there's so much hypocrisy around nutrition and weight loss that who do you believe?
I know, it's really confusing.
Yeah. And so I've cut through all the clutter, and I have let's get real moments, and we are very successful with it. And we show people how to eat regular everyday foods that they enjoy and like. They learn about portions because that is important. They also learn about timing their meals and snacks so that they have good energy throughout the day. It's called diet-free life.
Diet-free life, okay.
Healthier is happier. And diet-free because I don't believe in diets. I believe that food is a celebration of life, and that you just gotta, like growing up, my best conversation with my mom took place in the kitchen. Some of my best conversations with friends and relatives have taken place over food. I like to eat, so my program is me.
Yeah. And I think there's so much emotion and memories attached to food. Like you said, you have memories of cooking with your mom, that it's hard for people to dissociate with that. And so when you tell them to get rid of like the so-called unhealthy food that they grew up with, there's immediately this block that they experience.
Absolutely. Some of your fondest memories are around food.
Right.
You win a baseball game, you go out for pizza. You're in school and you want to have that burger. Late at night after going out dancing at the club, you want to go have that, that In-N-Out or that other burger, or IHOP. But it's just,
that was it for us. Back when I was in college. So.
Yeah. So it's just a matter again of being informed.
Right.
But most people are not. And I don't know what your ethnicity is.
I'm Indian.
All right, but if you go to like someone who's Indian, someone who's from the Philippines, someone who's from any of your Hispanic countries, Puerto Rico, Colombia, you name it, and you start saying no more rice, we have a problem. But if I can show you how to eat rice in a healthier way and get the results that you want, with health being improved all around, not just weight loss, you have a win-win.
So you offer that flexibility that takes into account like the cultural components and the lifestyle that people are accustomed to.
Absolutely.
So I want to ask you, Robert, what role does the mind play in all of this? Like you've obviously heard of the mind-body connection, right? Mm-hmm. So why is it important for us to keep that in mind when we're trying to get healthier and lose weight?
Well, as I was sharing with you earlier, my master's in counseling psychology. So I'm always thinking mindset first. And I've spent time with the Tiger Woods of the world, the Michael Jordans of the world, any great athlete or person who's accomplished great things. It's not just them kicking or jumping higher than the other person. The majority of the time is their ability to be intact, right, mentally. When you're in the Marine Corps, mindset is critical. And the physical part of it just makes it possible for you to be able to deal with moments of stress, which always comes back to what we call the three-legged stool, which is fitness, how you move, activity, nutrition, how you eat, what you eat, how much you eat, when you eat, and then mindset. Because then mindset is going to play a big role with motivation, inspiration, follow through, your ability to be compliant with the things you said were important to you. And oftentimes I think that people just avoid mindset, and they'll make progress, but if it's not like If you don't really got it down mentally and you don't have things in place to help you strengthen that, then what you called a lifestyle when you first did it isn't a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to fade. Motivation fades. So what are you doing to like stoke it? Keep that fire on high. And that's like your lifestyle and all the things that you truly believe in. So like, I'm sure you really believe in what you do. And no matter what, when you're at a party or a gathering, someone wants you to eat something that's not part of your lifestyle, mentally, I bet you shut it down, no problem. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
It's not always easy, especially when you're traveling and where you have less options. I mean, grabbing a sandwich is always easier than, sitting down and eating a salad.
Oh, let me tell you, like every week I just did a clinical study in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So I fly on Wednesdays from LA all the way to Lancaster. I do the trial on Thursday, Friday, and then I fly back. So I've been doing that through the whole COVID. And the outcome has been amazing. The results are amazing because we did a clinical with people in under-resourced and underserved communities where they don't have the resources to go buy salmon or to maybe eat the foods that you're able to eat. They can only eat what they have in the house and what they're going to be able to eat when they get some money. So you're showing people how to eat top ramen in a healthier way. I'm showing people how to eat what they have access to. And oftentimes these people are overlooked. So think about it. I mean, when you have resources and you can go to Whole Foods and you can go to, Trader Joe's and you can eat like organic and close to nature, okay, that's great. But the majority of the country isn't always in a position to do that. So how do you help them get healthier? You know what I mean? They're not going to stop. They're not going to go keto. They're not going to go intermittent fasting. They're looking forward to their next meal. So in my field, there's not a lot of people who do what I do. And we're able to reach every person, no matter what their financial situation is, and get them on board. And trust me, mindset, when you're sitting in a room with people who don't know if their lights are going to be on tomorrow, yeah, you got to make sure that you're meeting them where they are and win them over and don't come across like you're like pompous and that you're better than them. And then you got to speak to them based on the foods they're going to eat.
Right.
Like if you took those people, just give you an idea, and I pulled them out of Pennsylvania and I put them in Beverly Hills. And I said, okay, you have the same amount of money. We'll put you in a hotel. Now go eat. What is life going to be like for them, right?
I would follow the same eating patterns because what I think the problem is that they don't have the information, the education about healthy eating and nutritious eating. Because I have some friends who don't eat healthy, and it's not because that they don't have the money to go and buy healthy foods at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or whatever, but they just don't know. They just lack that understanding of, the calorie and the macros and components. So I also think having that knowledge of nutrition is essential. And I'm sure you agree, right?
Well, yes, I believe education is king. I believe that, but again, remember what I said earlier. The biggest challenge we have with getting the majority of people, not you, but the majority of people on board, is that the uninformed are influenced by the misinformed. So for instance, if I said, hey, organic, hormone-free, cage-free chicken breast is healthy. I have vegan friends that will tell you, no, it's not. So for me, it always comes down to also who defines what's healthy. Who is that person? So when you say what's healthy, like what makes you feel that's healthy? You know what I mean? Like, and then when you call something unhealthy, what makes it unhealthy? Like there's a woman who can't think of her name right now. This came up twice, but she came to visit me, and she had a whole bunch of magazines. And one of her most popular magazines she used to publish was called Oxygen.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then she published this one called Clean Eating.
Mm-hmm.
And I still see them every once in a while. So she came to my clinic, and I said, I like your magazine, Clean Eating, but if I don't eat that way, does that mean that I eat dirty? Because if you're going to call it clean, you're defining what clean eating is. And again, I have some vegan friends that will say, I don't care what the chicken looks like. That's not healthy. So are they wrong? Are they eating dirty?
Right, right. I know that if I'm able to function at peak levels and I'm not getting sick and my immunity is strong, that's when I know I'm doing something right.
And I would agree.
Right? So, and I think that's different for different people, because I tried being vegetarian for a few months, didn't work for me. I was weak. But it works for other people. So, I mean, I don't know.
Well, there's so much that we don't know. Like, I don't know exactly how you ate as a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Because there could have been one little tweak needed that would have changed everything.
Okay.
So again, when you meet someone where they are, you got to really look in and see what they got going on. And from a gut health standpoint, right, as you talk about immune system, like there's only two ways to boost the immune system. But when you go on Facebook and Instagram and, you know, you're all over on TV, because of COVID, there's so many people saying, well, this product helped boost the immune system. This boost, I'm like, that is such a lie. Again, the uninformed are being influenced by the misinformed, right? You can boost your immune system with the vaccine. That's what a vaccine does. It purposely boosts your immune system so you can fight off pathogens. The only other way is activity. So now we're talking about gut health, right? Which 70% of your immune system is based on your gut bacteria. Well, how do you get the bacteria that you have? Well, you were born with your mom's gut bacteria. I got my mom's gut bacteria. Well, a lot of the foods that I eat are the foods that she ate. And so surprisingly, there are some people who will eat spinach because it's healthy, but it's not good on their bacteria. So even spinach isn't always healthy for every person when you look at everything. So
Popeye was wrong.
Popeye was partially, I think the majority of people will get benefit from spinach.
Okay.
But you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it's just so much confusion.
Right.
And that's why the waistline, when you look at where we were in 1950, obesity rates have like 4 times higher. The majority of people have one or more morbidities.
Right.
It's crazy right now.
Do you think, Robert, that emotions and stress plays a part in this trend of obesity?
Absolutely. 100%. Well, we know emotionally, if you're stressed, food is digested totally differently than when you're not stressed. We know that the way you think plays a huge role in the release of certain hormones in your body. You know, cortisol, which is a hormone connected with stress, results in excess body fat in the midsection. So everything gets better when you're happier. You know what I mean? It's like everything is better when you're happier, but when you don't know how you're going to pay your bills, you know what I mean, or you're in a relationship that you're not happy with, it's really tough. You know, some of the best clients I've ever had is the woman, and I'm going to say woman because the majority are women, the woman who comes to me and says, hey, Robert, I want to do your program. And I go, okay, so why? What's going on? What's your life like? Well, I just got divorced. She's going to do great. I just broke up with someone. She's going to do great, right? Because they're chasing happiness right now. They're open to new opportunities, and they want to feel and look their best so those things come to them. So it all depends.
It's coming from within, yeah.
Yeah. So success is really, it's unfortunate that we don't spend more time talking about, you know, the motivation side, mindset, because there's definitely a connection there. You know, and we now know scientifically that there's a connection between gut communication and brain communication. I mean, they literally have done what they call fecal transplants. It's not necessarily fecal matter, but they'll take like part of the microbiome, the gut bacteria, from a happier, healthier person, implant it in a person who's not happy and is not as healthy. And what do you think happens? They become happier and healthier just by taking, cells from one person and putting them in another person. You're going to start to hear about that more and more. In 10 years, it'll become like a big thing to do. People will pay big bucks for it, but they still won't address the reality that that's going to be temporary, because that person's life is going to take them back to where they were.
Okay. And you said that you work with a lot of women. I'm sure that you get some of them who have low self-worth and have body image issues. How do you deal with them? Like, what advice do you
I think that would be the majority, right? Which is unfortunate. But what happens is it's kind of like if you went to a pastor of a church, okay, or a spiritual sanctuary, or you had a life coach. Anytime you're working with someone who is optimistic and you walk away feeling better about yourself because you spent time with that person, sets you up for success. So it's not that difficult for me to reach most of the people that I work with. It's because I'm that guy. I'm optimistic. I'm happy. I'm going to show them some stuff that they didn't know. They're going to do it. They're going to get results each and every week. And to me, that's a win-win.
The reason why I ask about low self-esteem is because I suffered from that when I was growing up, because I was a little bit on the chubbier side when I was younger. So for me, I think I agree with what you say. Like, once you get started and you start seeing the results, that kind of pushes you on and that motivates you to do even better. But I think initially what was difficult for me is getting that momentum to actually wake up in the morning, go for that walk, and later my runs. I think that's what a lot of people struggle with, especially if they're not feeling very good about themselves. So what do you say to those who have a tough time starting out?
Humble yourself and connect with a coach or someone who can help you, right? Because once you get some momentum with that extra person, if you can afford it, then I would say get with someone, get with a pro. Because like if you had a personal trainer that was going to meet you at 6 on Tuesday morning and you paid money, trust me, you're going to probably show up at 6 in the morning. If you had someone that was giving you a program and they live across the world, then you paid because you wanted a program and they said you're going to walk on Tuesday at 6 in the morning or 5 p.m., whatever the case is, you're going to eat this way. Then this built-in accountability is going to make it easier for you to get going. And once you get going, then it's a whole nother animal. You got momentum, like you said.
Yeah. And do you recommend like podcasts and other resources like that?
Podcasts, I think, watch biography, read books, learn about Colonel Sanders.
Colonel Sanders?
Yeah, Kentucky Fried Chicken.
But I don't see him as the epitome of health.
Well, one, he was never overweight. 2,
really?
The reason why I recommend Colonel Sanders is he has a very powerful story. I mean, the guy had ups and downs until he was in his late 50s. Early 60s, he had this recipe. He went after it. And Kentucky Fried Chicken, KFC, became what it is. I find that very motivational to learn about his story. Same as Beyonce, who wasn't always as lean and healthy as she is, but just her and Destiny Child, what they went through, going on Star Search. They didn't win. They had a deal once. It was with a company. Then they got dropped from that. But look what happened when she stayed the course. So I'm real big on just finding anyone, reading anything that inspires you to not give up and to live your best. It doesn't have to be, I only eat fruit juices and I don't eat you know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that. It can be somewhat of anything. Steve Jobs, even though there's some challenging parts of his life, I mean, look what the guy was able to, he changed the world. I mean, we lived during that time. I mean, he's like a modern day, Edison. I mean, look how our lives are altered and changed for the worse and the better because of the devices that he created. So there's inspiration, I think, in a lot of different places.
Okay, and I think a lot of people right now are facing a lot of stress. They're concerned about all the uncertainty about COVID and things like that. So, do you have any recommendation for people out there who just want to feel balanced and who just need to take care of themselves and their loved ones?
Well, for those who can do it, um, in my opinion, this is the best time ever in my life that I can recall, where you have so many things lined up that would motivate, pull you, push you into becoming your healthiest person. Like this is the time. This is the time right now. It's like when I was in the Marine Corps, we worked out like every day. Like every day we worked out except for Sundays. And the reason why I bring that up is we didn't work out so we would look a certain way. We worked out because being in better physical condition helps you cope better with stresses of life.
Mhm.
And so it goes hand in hand. If you want to deal with the stresses of life, get in the best physical shape you can possibly get in.
Yeah, I totally agree. When I work out in the morning, it just puts me in the right mind frame, right, to put everything else, all the other challenges I face for the rest of my days. So I can definitely attest to that.
Mm-hmm. That's it. Live your best life.
Absolutely, absolutely. Robert, thank you so much. That was really inspiring. Thank you so much for all that you do to raise awareness about healthy living in mind, body, and spirit.
Absolutely. Yeah. Congrats on your show
Thank
and
you so much.
continued success. And when you're ready to leave the is it paleo? When you're
Yeah.
ready to leave paleo, just reach out to me and I'll help you out.
Okay. Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Very quickly, how can people learn more about you?
They can Google me by name or just go to dietfreelife.com and they can contact me or find out more about what we do there.
Okay. And you have a podcast too, right?
Yeah, we have one. It's called the Stay Healthy Experience.
The Stay Healthy Experience. And what does it cover?
We cover everything. I mean, we actually just recently did one where we talked about politics because there are people, their health is being challenged because of the stresses of this political climate.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of hate and pointing the finger and all of that. And so we just talked about that and how the role is playing on people's overall health and mental stability. People are experiencing like some major mental health issues because of the election by itself. So we talked about that, but then I'll have like fighters on and we'll talk about that world or what they do to stay in shape, or celebrities or actresses or everyday people. And we just kind of, keep it, keep it moving. We change it up.
Okay, that sounds really exciting. Okay, Robert, thank you so much. I appreciate your time, and it's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Well, thank you.